This week on the Digital Coffee, those pesky messenger bot restrictions for the EU are getting rolled back. Instagram doesn't want you sharing TikTok to Reels. And Android may be about to introduce privacy updates similar to the Apple ones. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb, grasping a coffee cup because I want to know what it is. What drink are you sharing with me this morning? Is it tea? Is it coffee? Is it something else? And do remember that if you are watching on Facebook, if you leave a comment on this video, I'm going to send you a copy of the Digital Coffee newspaper. So you get to read the news in your own time, look at what I said, read somebody else's opinion on it. If you don't know what to comment, I know some of you are commenting already. I want to know, are you a Clubhouse person? Do you know what Clubhouse is? Are you using it? Do you want to use it? I want to know your opinions on that. Let's say hello to a few people before we move on to the news. Hello, Ev. Great to see you here. What is it in your cup? Is it tea or coffee? Lee is saying no Clubhouse, but that's because they don't use, it's not available on Android, which is a really, that's a point of contention. And she is drinking coffee. So do let me know. Clubhouse, no Clubhouse, tea, coffee, or if you don't want to tell me any of that stuff and you still want the newspaper, just say hi or put a dot or an emoji or something and you'll still get a copy of the newspaper. Good morning to Kathleen. Hello. And particularly if you're watching on YouTube, do say hello so that I know that somebody watches on YouTube. We had 2 YouTube viewers last week, which was live viewers. We've had loads since, which was very exciting for me, because it means some of you are actually watching from there. Also, look at this behind my head before I move on. It's almost the same colour as my jumper. I am painting that wall this weekend, so next time you see me, the background will be orange and I probably won't be able to wear orange because I will blend in. Okay, I promised you the news. Let's get on with that.
Hi, I'm Kyra Fingleton from Glamping Under the Stars, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Creating content and then sharing it on multiple platforms is a brilliant way to reach more people. In fact, that's something I do with this show. Not only do I broadcast here and on Facebook and on YouTube, I also slice up the show and I put it out on my LinkedIn company page. I put it out on Twitter as well. Repurposing, great way just to reach more people. But Instagram don't want you doing that with your TikTok videos. In fact, this week, they put up a post on Instagram talking about what you shouldn't do with Reels. And if you do this stuff with Reels, they're going to restrict the reach of your Reels. And by restricting it, it will still reach the people who follow you. But one of the advantages of Reels is it gets into that Reels tab where people can discover you and find you and follow you, into the Discover tab on Instagram. And they didn't mention it, but I'm wondering, is the hashtag pages as well? Will you be restricted from there? So the first thing that comes up is having a logo on your video. And this very specifically targets TikTok. If you watch Reels, you will see if it was already originally created on TikTok, it has the TikTok logo at the bottom. And this makes sense, right? Because Instagram Reels, they don't want to be advertising another platform. They don't want to go, look how cool TikTok is. Look at the cool videos you can make if you use TikTok. No, of course they don't want you doing that. The second restriction then is if you've got a frame around your video. Now, I don't watch enough Reels to know what that means, but maybe it's something that makes content look a little bit spammy. I don't know. And the third one also makes sense, which is low resolution videos. So if it's not offering a good viewing experience, they don't want to put it into the Reels feed. So if you do any of those things, you're going to see that your reach for those posts is going to get rolled back. There are solutions. If you look out there, there are a lot of Instagram experts talking now about how you can remove the logo from your TikTok videos. And maybe that's something you want to do, because either you can choose, I'm going to use TikTok or I'm going to use Reels, or you can create for both. The choice is yours, but Instagram definitely don't want you advertising the platform. Kathleen says no to Clubhouse. She's an Android user. I think that's a problem for a lot of people. So if you don't know what Clubhouse is or what I'm talking about, that's okay, because I am going to explain towards the end of the show. I think a lot of marketers have jumped on board, but it seems to have got massively active. It used to just be marketers. And when I say used to, it's only really exploded over Christmas. That's when marketers were in there. And it's unusual actually for a platform to be marketers first. Usually other people like using it before marketers, and then we come in and spoil it. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later on.
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award-winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea. Shh.
You may remember, if you are a regular viewer of this show, that towards the end of 2020, messenger bots from Facebook got some massive restrictions if you were based in the EU. And we did a whole special Digital Coffee extra show with my chatbot person, Sasha Lydiard, about these changes. And one of the most annoying changes for me, at least, and I know for some of you as viewers, because you've been complaining that you miss them, were the notifications that you used to be able to get to tell you that this show was going live. So I used to set that up once a week, and you'd get a notification. And I mean, we have a great number of people watching now, but we used to have a ton of people before I even started. And it was a bit of a pain that went away, and I've kind of put it on the back burner to fix it. So if you want text messages instead or something like that. But I may not need to set that up now, because the EU, Facebook is rolling back those changes. So there were some really weird things. You couldn't send an image via a chatbot or receive an image via a chatbot. There were lots of weird restrictions that just made it harder for us to do our jobs. And even though I see why they may want to make chatbots less spammy, it was just so annoying. Anyway, they are rolling it back, but they're not bringing it all back at once. They're going to spread the rollback of all the restrictions that they put in over the year. So Q1, not really interested in what they're doing there, because I'm only interested in one-time notifications there. And I know Lee has a chatbot that uses one-time notifications. And Barbara, I don't know if you're watching, you have one. You're going to be able to reinstate those in Q2, which I imagine means starting in March. That's it, January, February. No, starting in April. So by April, I will be able to tell you about the show by chatbot again, if you specifically ask for that. So that is good news. I can't wait to see that back. I'm really annoyed that I have to wait till April for that to happen.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
If your audience are on TikTok, and you know what, it's not just kids anymore. There's a lot of people on TikTok. It may be younger people that are creating the majority of the content, but there are a lot of people viewing on TikTok of all age groups. There may be some new ways to sell your products specifically. And this is really interesting, I think, for all social networks that are looking for another income stream outside ads. By adding e-commerce options, they can take a portion of the sale when you sell, which means that's an income stream for you. So when they've saturated the whole network with ads, they've also got a new way to grow their revenue. It's very smart when you think about it. And TikTok is adding new e-commerce tools this week. You may remember, I think it was either towards the end of last year or the beginning of this year, they did some experiments with selling via live broadcasts. They did them with Walmart, and these weren't necessarily like shopping channel types of stuff. This was live broadcasts from creators, and maybe they'd be wearing something in it and you would be able to buy the thing that they were wearing. So it's kind of like, nobody do people want a shopping channel on TikTok? So that is going to be implemented, rolled out to more people beyond the Walmart trial. You'll be able to upload your product catalogue like you can on Facebook if you're an e-commerce store, or all those other social networks do it now as well. And that will dynamically bring your products in so that you can talk about them, share them, sell them. And the third one is really interesting. It's going to be some sort of, until I see more detail, I'm not quite sure, but what I'm seeing it as being is some sort of affiliate scheme baked into TikTok. So they're saying that top creators will be able to share links to products and they will get a cut of the sale if somebody buys them. So essentially that's combining your influencer marketing with a affiliate scheme, but you'll be able to do it all in one place. You won't necessarily have to go and sign up for another tool. I don't know that for sure, but that sounds like how it's going to work, which could be huge, right? Because it saves you so much time for a business. Do you need to be on TikTok? I mean, this time last year, I was telling people, do not jump on TikTok right away. You don't necessarily need to be on TikTok. It's one you might want to keep an eye on, but unless you're able to create relevant, beautiful TikTok-y content yourself, maybe it's not a platform directly for you, but it's a way that you could work with influencers to help you sell your stuff. Here we go. Here's Lee's got a comment on the Instagram not want sharing for TikTok. Yeah, exactly. It makes sense for Instagram to not want to have TikTok shared. How would we feel if our community members shared competitors' content in our spaces? I suppose it is content you've created. So once it doesn't have the TikTok logo on, once it's not advertising TikTok, if you created it, I think it's fair enough. But I can understand completely, like, they totally don't want a big TikTok logos all over all their reels. And I think that's exactly what's happening.
This is May King from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
The new Apple iOS update is coming. We don't know when. In fact, my phone updated to a new version of iOS overnight. And I don't think it's it because I've accessed Facebook and I haven't had any warnings about tracking data yet, but we know it's coming. And we know that Facebook is going to be massively impacted from an advertising point of view here. In fact, one of my jobs for next week is to bring all my clients' sites up to speed so that we can still use Facebook advertising effectively. And it's been really tough on Facebook, probably because they track so much information. They just track you all over the internet, and that's how they know so much about you, so that when you go to create ads, that information is going to be better. They also know what ads to show you because they know what you've been looking at. So they'll go, oh, this person's interested in cats. I will show them ads about cats. Does it affect other people as badly? Well, not Twitter. Twitter this week said what they're going to be doing about... What are they going to be doing about? I've forgotten what they're going to be doing about the iOS update. It turns out it's not really affecting Twitter ads so much. It is going to affect advertising apps. So that's one place that they'll have issues with working out, app install ads or app engagement ads. Most of us don't have an app, so I don't do much app advertising, so that's not going to be huge. But they don't think it's going to affect their regular ads. And, this is good news for Twitter, because I think one of the downsides of Twitter advertising has always been that you haven't been able to target people as specifically as you could on Facebook because they just haven't gathered that data. I mean, they didn't even have a date of birth. You didn't have to put in your date of birth when you used to sign up. So they had nothing. And this used to be a huge disadvantage to them now, but I'm imagining with this update, it's actually become an advantage because they don't need to mess with their advertising product to the extent that Facebook has. Interesting, huh? Now, before I move on to the next news story, I want to know, are you using Clubhouse? Only 2 of you have responded, so let me know if you are using Clubhouse, because it is very relevant. And if you don't know what it is, tell me you don't know what it is, because it's very relevant to a story that's coming up soon.
Hi, I'm Carmel Siri, and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Whatever side you fall on, whatever you believe, about this new Apple update that is there to, in their opinion, respect the privacy of users. And I do think that, in my head, I think that's what's behind it. They want to be the privacy-centric company. It looks good for them, right? Them saying that they care about privacy. Whether you think it's real or not, it looks good. And this week, it looks like Android is considering something similar to the privacy update from Facebook, which will give users the choice if they want to be tracked online. So it's interesting they're going there, because obviously now they're seeing this as a competitor. If Apple are doing it, they need to tell people they respect your privacy as well. But it's not going to be as stringent. It's not going to be as strict, and hopefully they will work with advertisers so that they'll be able to see how they can work with the new privacy system. And of course, when you think about it, of course it's not going to be so strict, because Android is owned by Google. And of course, Google run personalized ad campaigns. So for Android, for us as advertisers, the first reaction I had was that means everything's gone. We've lost Apple, we've lost Android. It'll only be desktop users we'll be able to personalize an experience for. But it seems like that the Android operating system will still have some amount of personalization that you will be able to run. Again, the future of the internet is going to be very much privacy related, no cookies. So we do need to prepare for a world where advertising isn't going to be as good and measurement isn't going to be as good as we've had in the past.
You're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Now, Instagram don't want you sharing content from other platforms onto Reels. We've talked about that, but they totally want you to share your Reels to their other platforms. And this week they are testing, this is going to be rolled out soon, recommending your Reels on Facebook. And this has all the advantages of that repurposing I was talking about. You create on one channel, you will reach more of your audience by publishing to other channels. So you'll be able to publish to Facebook, it'll go into Facebook Watch, you'll have the opportunity to reach even more people with your Reels, which is, if your Reels are relevant, on brand, it's going to be great for not just building your audiences, but for getting the right people into your channel. But I did have a but it does mean that you are going to be tied to these platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And obviously Facebook have an agenda here. They want you to share Reels and create Reels because they want to dominate the short video market. They don't want TikTok to dominate the short video market. So they want you to create more content. They want to push it out on Facebook because Facebook is out of ad space, so they need more inventory and more places that they can run ads. Now that might be my cynical side coming out. There may well be other ways, because of course people are dropping off Facebook, they're dropping off engagement. Maybe if you see Reels on Facebook, people engage more and spend more time there, and ads will become more effective, or their new shopping tools will become more effective. For us as businesses, we should always, if we are creating or if we have time to create on these platforms already, jump on these ways that we can reach more people. It's like Facebook is giving us the opportunity to reach more of our target market, and that happens so little that we should jump on the opportunity when we have it. Lee had one. I only had to make a post on my personal wall about weighted blanket once and asking if people had bought them to be included with ads. So the machine is still working. So what's happening there is you've posted on Facebook that you're interested in something. They know you're interested at something, so they serve you ads about that thing. What happens from a website point of view is, instead of that, you don't talk about it on Facebook, but you go to lots of different websites looking at weighted blankets, and Facebook grabs that data. Oh, she's interested in weighted blankets because you visited those websites, and then starts serving you ads. So that's the bit that is going to be affected. That data that you get from the websites. And yes, it is still working for now, but we don't know when this new iOS update is going to appear and when it's going to kill our advertising.
Hi, I'm Catherine Mason and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Clubhouse is a social network based on audio conversations. It's an audio space for a space for having spoken word conversations, and it really took off. I'd say just before Christmas was when it really started expanding. Social media examiners Michael Stelzner started posting a lot about it, so a lot of marketers jumped on then. And the thing with Clubhouse is you have to have an invite, you have to be invited to use it. People love it, and I can see why they love it. It has been this space where you were able to meet people you would never be able to meet otherwise, and this meant that you were getting on people's radar. So from a marketer's point of view, this is huge. There's lots of business being done, there's lots of connections being made, and part of me looks at that with total FOMO, and the other part of me just doesn't have the time to do Clubhouse and do all the other things that I need to do, like this live show. So I see a big group of people bitching about Clubhouse. I see another group of people who love it. And I think a lot of the people that are bitching about it are bitching because they're on Android and they can't use it. Or like me, I haven't had the time to get in there. So I decided not to bitch because I know people are getting value. But the thing is, when you start a new social network like this, it's only momentarily before the other social networks try and steal it. And they have a better chance of success. So the first time I talked about Clubhouse was when Twitter started building a thing called audio spaces, which Jack Dorsey was a very early adopter of Clubhouse back at the beginning of last year, and he thought, I want this for Twitter. So that's exactly what is happening. Twitter audio spaces have been in beta for a while. It's been out to select users, but they rolled it out to more people this week. I logged into Twitter once and I just missed an audio spaces room. So I still haven't been able to jump on one and see what happens. But look at it. If you've been on Clubhouse, this is exactly what Clubhouse looks like. Exactly. So they've stolen the interface. They've stolen the idea. Could this kill Clubhouse? Well, one, I think it's got more chance for success, because if you look at the internet in general, before Facebook, I used to be a member of various internet forums where you could have discussions around particular topics that were of interest to you. When Facebook came along, a lot of those died because there was Facebook, right? And they developed Facebook groups, and Facebook groups work really well for communities because you're on Facebook, you see the notifications, you see it come up in your feed. And I think the same is going to happen with Twitter audio spaces. When you log in, you will see immediately, oh, and I've got time to jump into a Twitter space. Why would I go to Clubhouse? So it could kill Clubhouse. One thing I think that is going to be interesting to see if Twitter users adopt it. That is the one thing that could stop Twitter killing Clubhouse. Also, sorry, Android users, Twitter audio spaces is only for iPhone 2. So let's just also mention that it is being rumoured that Facebook are working on their version of Clubhouse. And I'm kind of like, of course they are, because they already stole TikTok and Snapchat and every other platform. They're trying to steal YouTube for years, haven't quite made it. So of course they're looking at their own version of audio spaces. Is audio the future? It's very time consuming, but so is watching a live broadcast like this. So I'd love to know and see how this is going to map out into the future. Lee says she doesn't think it'll be for me because of the time and the stuff I want and need to do. It would just distract me. But I won't bitch about it. Each to their own, live and let live. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I could stop listening to podcasts and start participating in Clubhouse. That would be a choice I could make. And that may be a good thing, but I like to have my time out to listen to podcasts. So I am losing this opportunity really to make the earlier on connections that people are in Clubhouse. It is a really interesting time for this social network to see what happens. Well, that is all for the Digital Coffee this week. I cannot wait to get my one-time notifications back, but thank you for all of the people who have tuned in for the whole show. I will be back, same bat time, same bat place next week.
Bye.